Greetings, social work students. In the time of the coronavirus, this is going to be a very brief recording. I'm going to stick to 15 minutes and I should be done by then. 20 minutes tops. I want you to watch this recording before the class, and it should contextualize our discussion that we'll have shortly today. And in case I didn't say it, April 20th, 2020. So let me shift to the share screen and I want to use this visual. Sorry. This. I'm going to use our PDF file as the guide for our discussion. And I'm going to go straight to the community wellness model that I just updated as it's work in progress. That includes not only my colleagues at your college and the Institute for Community Wellness, but of course you. And not yielding to fear. And you should take care of your immune system. That's your first and primary defense against any kind of calamity like an epidemic. So this is quickly also on the concepts. I'm bringing them up again, not only because they're reflected in your midterm, but also because they're going to guide the final paper. And in our discussion today, we're going to outline the shape of the final paper. I have some ideas, but I need to run them by you. As always, the integrated social work conceptual framework map. Theoretical framework, community wellness model, on that more in a minute. Systems analysis and dialectic social work model. These are three theoretical models that are going to frame our conversation through the end of the semester and also going to undergird your final paper. Now, this is familiar to you. This is something that is indigenous to your college and Institute for Community Wellness, and it is the community wellness model that we developed. It's, as always, work in progress, as I said, and we have a new iteration of this model coming right up. Ladies and gentlemen, the community wellness model as it stands right now for your consideration, and also this is our guiding light. This is the structure that we follow through the end of the semester, and I would even expect you, if you take good lessons from this course, then this model should really be your structure for the rest of your professional career. I would certainly want that to happen. Let me expound on this one more time, because now it looks differently. And take it in. Do notice the interaction between something that we call ecology, which is, of course, is the environment in which the world is functioning. Is the environment the so-called macro level of understanding and practice? Somewhere between macro and exo, because this is not only the world that underpins our society, but this is also the world of ideas. This is also the medium, the stratum, where the ideas percolate, where inventions happen, when the industry occurs, where culture is sustained, where human relations in every form and shape, from Gemeinschaft or Gesellschaft occur. And of course, the ecology refers to natural ecology, that environment that includes the earth, the sky, the water, and everything that comes out of the combination of this. So the essence of this model is that these ecologies, of course they overlap, but these ecologies denote this, fourth dimension of the environment in which we exist. Now, on the macro level, clearly macro level, there is a community, human communities as they shape and form. And this is our purple egg inside the ecologies. And of course, these communities, these human communities, be they villages, hamlets, farms, towns, cities, neighborhoods. These communities, of course, are fully dependent and integrated with the ecologies in every shape and form. Since I only have 10 minutes left, I'm not going to go in depth on this, but you should dwell and contemplate that notion. Now, within the communities, there are human beings. And the impact of all these ecologies on human beings, who of course reside within the communities, occurs also along the four dimensions. And these four dimensions of ecological impact on humans is the combination, once again, overlapping of spiritual health, emotional health, physical health, and intellectual health. Once again, social, cultural, technological, and natural ecologies that surround the communities, that ensconce them. And that relationship is mutual because, of course, communities have their own impact on the ecologies. But now we're talking about the impact of ecologies onto communities. So as ecologies impact the communities, they impact individuals, families. I don't even want to say individuals anymore. Families along the lines of four dimensions, four vectors, which is spiritual health, emotional health, intellectual health, and physical health. This is the essence of the community wellness model that was developed by the Institute of Community Wellness in collaboration, of course, with your college and the Free International University of Moldova. And we are testing this epistemological model on our students, and of course, it evolves with your help. Briefly, once again, on the community wellness model, what is it? The community wellness model creates an epistemological field. And by the way, if there is a word pops up that you're not sure of, whether you know it or not, or maybe you don't know, look it up. We need new words. So the word epistemological really refers to knowledge. Community wellness model creates a knowledge field that interconnects human ecologies with individual impacts, provides guidelines for inquiry, framework for educational methodologies, and pathways for professional action towards systemic community improvement. Right, so this, in the context of the social work profession, the community wellness model is not only guide for learning. This is not only an educational tool, but this is a pathway for action towards improving community wellness. With respect again to community wellness model, it includes natural, social, cultural, and technological ecologies that are sources of both empowerment and toxicity. Back to this slide. These ecologies that are in a mutual relationship with humans who inhabit the communities, they provide both the nourishment to the communities, but also the poison. The toxicity that is poison, but also they provide the empowerment, strength, and energy, which is nourishment. to communities and community members such as humans. Human ecologies human ecologies impacts on individuals as stress. So the impact of human ecologies manifests itself in the form of stress. And there are two forms of stress. In other words, two forms of how stress can actually impact. It could be eustress, and that's a stress towards growth, and also, which is a good stress, which is a good impact of stress, it's called eustress, and a stress that is a bad stress, and that's a stress towards deterioration, otherwise known as distress. Both of these types of stress impacts, eustress and distress, impact physical, mental, intellectual, and spiritual health of human beings, individually and in families, okay? So maybe I could even update. Don't want to make this model too busy, but these ecologies impact the communities in the form of stress that has both positive and negative aspects, as eustress and distress. This is not new, this is something that we discussed, but I want to return to this. And this is about community wellness that is impacted by conflicts in 4 ecologies. So the ecologies that we refer to, they're not static, like everything else in this world. These are dialectic environments. Dialectic, of course, means conflict. Let me show you how each of these ecologies is affected by conflict. Social ecology, let's start with that. Social ecology right here. It's underpinned, defined if you wish, by the dialectic, by the conflict between 2 forces. Those words should not be new to you. And that's Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Gemeinschaft and Gesellschaft. Those Ferdinand Tonnier's concepts that define human relations in the formal environment, which is Gesellschaft, and informal, which is Gemeinschaft. And that tension between formal and informal is the definitive dialectic of the social ecology. Again, all of this, if we need to unpack it further, we certainly could spend as much time as we need in our class that we'll have shortly today. The second dialectic occurs in the cultural ecology, and that's autochthonous versus global. Autochthonous versus global. If you remember the word autochthonous in the cultural ecology, that refers to native, that refers to culture specific, that refers to the ecology, cultural ecology that connects people, usually of similar heritage, versus a much more amorphous and ultimately much more corporate-driven global culture that perhaps will use some of the autochthony, some of the elements of autochthonous culture, such as world music, of course, employs musical devices and melodies, rhythms from across the world, but that is a global cultural type of the manifestation, not autochthonous. Autochthonous is culture that is native to perhaps Moldova, native to Jamaica, native to the Native American inhabitants, say Sioux. Autochthonous cultures are cultures with long, thousands of years long heritage. And that's the conflict between the global culture and autochthonous culture. autochthonous, native, indigenous. Third, ecology, and would be authenticity versus simulation. And this is something that we talked about. That was the gist of your project. And I'm referring to the mobile phones project that we had. And that is the conversation that we were having and will continue to have between authentic and simulated technologies, of course, especially electronic technologies, especially the social media, especially the such personal electronic devices as cell phones. Of course, they function and exist on simulation of human qualities, and simulation is opposite to natural, to authenticity, and that's the fundamental dialectic that undergirds the technological ecology: simulation versus the authenticity. And finally, and I'm going to finish on this, is, where is it? Sorry. Here. I'm sorry, I lost my track for a second. Here I am. And the final dialectic, that would be in the natural ecology. And natural ecology is right here, this is the natural world around us. The world that always offers us nourishment, everything that humans live on, everything that infuses us with energy, gives us the energy to live, to simply exist, to be creative, to grow, to mature, is the natural ecology, the air that we breathe, the food that we eat that comes out of the earth, the water that we drink. And of course, this ecology in its natural state is a source of nourishment. In its adulterated state, as we discussed it last semester, in its process state, in its technologically transformed state, it does become the source of toxicity. So toxicity versus nourishment is the dialectic underpinning the natural ecology as it affects communities. Okay, so I think I spoke for almost 20 minutes. I think that's enough. I'm going to save this clip and send it to you so that you could view this before the class. Thank you very much, and I will see you. 1 second. Yes, and I will see you shortly. In fact, I'm meeting with you at 2 p.m.